So listen, guys, my body is not the same how it used to be back in the day, like when I was in my 20s and things like that. I can't drink no more the same exact way. I had me a bottle of Ciroc yesterday, and it's like my body is just not recuperating the same way. Are you guys like getting the same thing?
Lord.
I don't know. I don't drink, so I can't speak that way. But I told my friends the other day, I said, you're getting old when the sweets you used to like are too sweet.
That's the diabetes kicking in like
But no, like when I was like 26, I can take a whole bottle of Ciroc and then wake up and go about my day. Like now I'm in the bed the entire day the following day after. It's
Wait,
crazy.
no hangover or nothing? No hangover.
Not a hangover. It's just like my kidneys and my lungs are just like talking to me like, yo, you're not getting up. Something's not right.
Your liver like water, please.
Right. When you're 26, your liver don't talk to you. You just got to do what you got to do. But when you're 30 something, your liver starts to talk to you, and that's a problem.
Okay.
So we're going to switch over to Daniel. Daniel, what do we got?
Well, it's rumored that Kanye West is going to take over Virgil Abloh's job at Louis Vuitton, and a lot of people want to have mixed feelings on it, if he should or if he shouldn't. But I think he should, just because it was rumored that they had worked together for years and they kind of shared the same vision. So Kanye feels like he's the only one that can kind of continue his work that he was doing, and him and Kanye were in communication a lot. So Kanye kind of knew what he had coming. And so he feels like he's doing it in honor of, hey, I want to make sure that Louis Vuitton doesn't switch out, the vision that he had and try to do something different. But it's just rumored now. It's not been any concrete evidence shown that that's going to happen. But, I don't see an issue with it. What y'all think?
I mean, I just felt like, he can't even die not one day, and already it's like somebody taking his position. And it's just like a reality. It's a sense of reality of that. When somebody passes away, somebody just takes over. So I just feel like I understand Kanye and Virgil have a relationship where they have like some of the same ideas. But my thing is,
this guy Virgil or Virgil? Because his name is Virgil.
Virgil. Did I say Virgil?
Virgil.
Because he's looking down on you right now, so be careful.
I always mess
Virgil,
up
forgive me. No, but I do think that I'm not against Kanye taking the position. I just hope that he really, follows his vision, because Kanye is like in the mind of his own as well, So I just hope that if he does take on a position, I'm not mad at it, but just make sure you stick to his plans respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like that too, Charnetta?
Yeah, that's a good point that you made. I didn't think about that, but I think he'll do a good. I think it's a smart move, just because everyone seems to love Kanye's fashion. I don't really particularly. It's not my style, but I mean, they paid out the wazoo for it. They love it. Kanye, I don't. Yeah. So I think it's a good business move on Louis Vuitton's part if they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, his fashion's definitely out there.
I just feel like there were some stories that was pushing a narrative that Kanye was stealing his ideas. Because I read articles like that too. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, we don't know what kind of relationships they had. If they could be talking to each other on the phone, or who's to say prior to him passing away, he could have already had a conversation with Kanye to say, listen, if something happens to me, I want you to take over. Like, we don't know the conversation that goes on behind the scenes. So
and that's something they probably could have had, because Kanye and Pharrell were at every release that he did. So, they were always the two featured artists or two individuals that he had there. So I definitely could see it. But Kanye's fashion, man, I mean, I seen Kanye. He came to the last game we had here in Tampa, the Buccaneers, and he showed up with some rain boots on, and it was like 80 something degrees. And I'm just like, like, bro, what is you doing now? Now, true enough, it had rained a couple hours before the game, but still. And then I seen a Drake concert that they did for Larry Hoover.
Larry Hoover.
He had the same rain boots on. So I'm like, what is going on?
Really? I was going to ask you, was those same rain boots?
Yeah, it was those. So yeah, if you look at a picture from the Buccaneers when he came here, we were sitting down and they sent us a text and was like, Kanye's here. And I'm like, why is he here? Like, I know he's coming to watch the game, obviously, but like of Tampa of all places, then I saw what he was wearing and I'm like,
maybe he took a detour.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully he follows what Virgil left behind, because woo, Kanye, sometimes his fashion be in left field.
That's what I'm saying, because some of his sneakers look like homeless shoes. Like the one year he did his fashion line, I was like, why these people look homeless? Like they look like the robes from the disciples in the Bible. I said, I'm not buying out one of these shirts. I'm not buying out.
Say T, because you did post and was like it be your own. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's a scumbag move to do that. And
a scumbag move.
A scumbag, yeah, because I think he wanted the job before Virgil got it. Virgil, whichever one Chanel said. See, I'm following her lead right now. But yeah, I think Kanye wanted the job. He didn't get it. They gave it to Homeboy, and then now he's like, "Yo, I got your job anyway." I think it's kind of messed up.
I think it's just because of the connection that they had in the relationship. Louis Vuitton was like, "We got to keep this going," and they wanted
So pick Kanye, somebody new. It got to be somebody else out there.
Nah, unless it's somebody from his team, like somebody that worked under him, that would be the only, because whatever designs he had in the works, I'm sure that team would know firsthand.
Right. All right. So Netta, what about Elon? Kanye and Elon are very close. We know this, right? So what about Elon?
Yeah. Now Elon out here trying to plant chips in people's brains, man. But I mean, he says it's gonna help with paralysis, and Elon is he's another Kanye, just on a whole nother level of thinking, and that it's extreme, but we need extreme visionaries, I guess, for advancement, right? But
so he's putting chips in people's brains.
Yes, he's putting chips.
Okay.
He wants to put as early as next year. Yeah, he wants,
But is it for all humans, or is it for them that have certain
the quadriplegics and all that?
Right,
is it for them?
Yeah, those who are exactly, to help improve their situation. It's with his company Neuralink, but that'll be interesting to follow, because we know it's going to develop into other stuff,
Now, do you have to charge this chip? Because if you don't charge this chip, do you go back to the old you? If you don't charge this chip,
bro.
Huh?
Man, I don't know. But what if
Tesla, you got to charge? So
yeah.
I mean, after reading about it and seeing that it was only going to go in tetraplegics and quadriplegics, so it won't be something that's going to be going into everybody. So, and this isn't the only. He's not the only company that has already begun working on this either. So that was the other thing. This is already something in the works. But in order for you to get a chip in my brain, I got to come in for something that you got to work on to get there. So yeah, I'm good on that one.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I would like to see, like, if that can really correct a quadriplegic's like disability, like that would be like groundbreaking, innovation. Like I'm with all that, because you think about the spinal cord is where all the messages go. The brain sends messages to the spinal cord and it goes to the appropriate location. So having something like that is cool, but at the same time, I'm afraid of it as well, because then you got sick people that's like, you know what? Let's do that. Let's put brain chips in our head, and now we're like living in a whole fantasy. I mean, it's worse enough. We talked about in the last show with the metaverse, and then you got brain chips. So who knows? Right. 2 and 2 is going to come together. So I don't know.
And be rolling for it.
There you go. You on to something now. You on to something. And Nell, what you got? What do you have for us? Black Panther, right? Something's going on.
Black Panther, come on, Wakanda forever. We might not be saying that no more, because who knows? I mean, my boy passed away. Rest in peace, Chadwick. Oh my God. I don't even know who's going to even play that. But Letitia Wright has been hitting the blogs, the news, because of her recent, she had an injury on the set of Black Panther, and she's been out of set for a while now. And people are saying that there's reports saying, Hollywood Reporter to be exact, is saying that she is purposely doing that because she doesn't want to get the vaccine, because the Marvel Universe requires all the actors and actresses to have the vaccine. So they're saying she's kind of using her injury as a scapegoat to not go back on the set. So it's a rumor. We're not sure. So many people have so many things to say about her as an actress. They don't feel that she should be the next Black Panther, even though the comic books you know, in the comic book series, the sister does become the Black Panther. So how do you guys feel about Letitia Wright playing that role as Shuri or being the Black Panther? And do you feel that it's wrong for reporters to make allegations about her feelings of the vaccine? Like, people are entitled to their feelings. Like, if she doesn't feel comfortable with the vaccine, she never said she was against it. She was just uncomfortable with the materials that's in the vaccine.
Well, look,
so
see,
why can't she question it?
That's what happens when you hire somebody that's from the UK or a Guyanese actress, right? She's a Guyanese British actress. She's not from America. They need to start hiring people here and giving roles here. And I guarantee you that wouldn't happen. You know, so it is what it is. But I will say this. I think that whoever is on top of this, Netta, who's on top of this whole Black Panther? Is it Disney? Like, who is it?
Yeah, it's Disney. Because Marvel is under Marvel sold to Disney, so it's Disney now.
So part of me feels like they should say, hey, you know what? If she's going through something with this whole vaccine, she feels a certain type of way. Let's push it back a year or two to see how this mandate and stuff is going to pan out. But I think they should do that at least. Like, that's how I feel, like half of me. The other half is like, just find somebody else.
No, this mandate isn't going anywhere. This mandate is about to become, this vaccine is about to be required. It's about to be something that's going to be on school documentation.
Yeah, I believe that.
It has already been reported.
Shutting it down. Yeah, it's gonna play itself out. I think they are trying to just, try with the pills and all. They're trying all different other alternatives or whatever, but there's too much pushback on it. Even the federal courts are not supporting it. I don't see it.
So Daniel, you say that it's not going anywhere, and Netta, you say that it is going somewhere, that it's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. The CDC has released that as soon as they can get it as far as getting it through all this trials and boosting it dies down. It's going to become a required vaccination for kids going to school and as part of the vaccination report. So it's going to join those hosts of vaccinations that are going to be coming. So it's going to end up being, to go to college and to go to school, you're going to have those vaccines.
Netta?
And I think you'll see an increase in homeschooling. Then it's gonna be, I mean, if you look,
the vaccines just become
it's a tough
so
situation,
political.
right? But there's people that do feel very strong on their position on both sides, but it's an alternative.
It's no different than the other vaccines that you already have to get to go to school.
That's what everyone says, but here we are.
Because you gotta have the different vaccines, unless it becomes something like the flu, where I think the flu vaccine is still the only one that's kind of optional. So hopefully they go that route. But when they're looking at the weight of just how this whole pandemic rolled out and these variants keep coming, it's going to be just like the flu. It's going to be an option every year that's going to be out there. But just on what's being pushed now in the reports, it's about to be a mandated vaccine.
It's the survival rate, and people get it, and a few days later they're better. They're pushing something, like they're trying to turn it into a flu thing where you have to keep getting boosters, you have to keep getting it every few months or whatever. No one wants to do that. No, why does someone want to keep going through pain? That darn arm can't even function for like 3 days.
Well, I can give you somebody now who would argue against that. One of my frat brothers just caught COVID this week, and he had it before getting vaccinated, and he prayed saying, I wish the vaccine had been available when I caught it the first time. He said, because now I don't feel anywhere near as bad as I did before I got the vaccine. He was like, because now it just feels like a tough cold. He said before there was days I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. So, you have your, I think once it became political, that's when people had doubt, because anytime they don't trust the government. And when the government started pushing it the way they did, that's when we had issues, because don't nobody complain about the vaccines we got to get now to do anything. Like even to travel to Africa, before you go to Africa, there's a series of vaccines that you have to get if you want to go. And people willingly get the vaccines, they go to Africa and have. So I think it's just once the government got involved, that's when things went left. And that's the other part too. To travel internationally, these other countries don't care what we as Americans think. They're already adding it to their vaccination. So like Italy and all those other places, it's not no get a test. You have to be fully vaccinated before you come over here.
They're also
Daniel
protesting in those. They're also
protesting
in those other countries, but they don't show you that. Like they're.
Oh no, we know they're protesting over there, but I'm talking about they're telling America, you don't want to. If you want to come to our country, you better be vaccinated before you come into this.
Okay, and then when not as many people come, we'll see how much, and they start to feel it financially. We'll see where their standpoint is at that point. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Pastor Daniel and Pastor Netta.
Well, the vaccine is actually more accepted than they're actually putting out there. It's less people actually against it than it is for it. So that's the recent stats that they just put out there. So that's actually going to help the government because there's more people that's for it. Like I'm vaccinations, all of them all together, just because of what they do for the body and how they to get it. So the fact that it's widely accepted over being condemned, it's going to end up happening because it's widely accepted by Americans now that they're seeing that they can benefit from it.
I think it's necessary because there are people out there who need something to feel safe. They need a sense of protection or, just that confidence to still go out there. And it's a financial thing. The economy was suffering. They need to do something to get people back to their normal lives to feel comfortable doing that. So getting a vaccine for some people that helps them with that, great. But I don't think it should be forced.
Now, I have a question. If they're mandating these vaccines, right? And everybody now has to get a vaccine. And if somebody takes a vaccine and now their life is at stake because of the vaccine, then is the government going to be responsible for,
Nope.
Can they press charges on the government because you're forcing me to take a vaccine? I know this might sound a little extreme and I'm not against the vaccine. I'm not comfortable with it yet because like I said, it's always something new coming about with this vaccine, something with a new variant, a new strain. Like I'm still trying to get research about what's going on. But my question to you, Daniel, is when you mentioned your frat brother, and first, I'm happy that he's okay. I respect what you said about your frat brother, but my question is now, what happens if somebody who's healthy, never caught COVID, they get the vaccine and they're like almost fatal?
Yeah, but that's underlying conditions. And that's what the COVID kind of showed us too. There was underlying conditions that people had that COVID revealed about them. The most people that died from COVID, it wasn't necessarily COVID that killed them. It was that they had underlying issues that they didn't know about, but going through COVID, like there was some people that were in stage 3, stage 4 cancer, had no clue. And then they got COVID and went to the doctor and it's like, okay, yeah, you have COVID, but you also have stage 4 this, or, you had these other underlying issues. Like my uncle discovered he had an issue with his lungs. Right. He never went to the doctor, but when he got COVID, they took an x-ray of his lungs and they were like, wait, this is why you can't breathe. Yes, COVID is because COVID attacked our respiratory system. So they were like, oh, so he ended up finding from that. So in a sense, he was glad he got COVID because he uncovered something about his lungs and he was able to have the lung transplant. And now, he's breathing and he says it, he's like, wow, I'm breathing a whole lot better. So a lot of times when people get the vaccine and they report something bad from it, they had underlying conditions that they didn't know about.
Yeah, but do you think that they should have some kind of testing done? And this is what I wish. I wish that before you get the COVID vaccine, they could test your blood to see how your blood reacts to the vaccine. So then if there is going to be some issues with somebody not reacting to it the proper way, then they know hey, this person might not be a good candidate to take this vaccine. Let's hold off. And
they'll probably get to that because like the flu, there's parameters now where if you had X, Y, Z, don't take the flu vaccine because it's going to. So I think we'll get there. Right now, it's kind of like what Netta said. We're trying to get to a point to where people feel safe and are out there because once it became available for kids, even my daughter walked in, when can I go get this shot? Because she was going to school every week and there was 4 people in her class that were missing. One time she went to school, there was only 6 students that were in her class because the rest of them had COVID. So we've been fortunate enough to where she, hasn't gotten it and has been spotted. So yes, she's got the shot and going and was pro for it. And we didn't have to force her to do it. That's what she wanted to do.
Wanted out on her own.
All right, guys, it's collection time. We got to pass around the plate. Thank you guys for watching Say It in 4. Take care.